All right, ready to dive deep into something that might flip your thinking.
Oh, sounds intriguing.
We're taking on the Taoist idea of hacer no haciendo, or as it's sometimes translated, wee, action through non-action.
Yeah, that one always throws people for a loop.
Right. It's not about becoming some hermit on a mountaintop, though.
Definitely not.
We've got some excerpts from the Tao Te Ching lined up, and it really challenges, I think, our Western, go-getter mindset.
Yeah, it really pushes us to look at a different way of being in the world, one that's more aligned with the natural flow of things.
So we're talking about the Tao Te Ching, right? One of the foundational texts of Taoism.
Yeah, for sure.
Known for these incredibly poetic verses, but also for, some pretty radical ideas, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the most interesting ones is that true effectiveness, true Tao, often comes from embracing yin, receptivity, stillness, potential.
Hold on. So you're saying that instead of constantly striving for yang, which is how we usually think of action and force, sometimes choosing stillness over action is more powerful.
Think of it this way. Imagine a child just completely absorbed in play. There's a spontaneity there, an effortless engagement, a complete lack of self-consciousness.
Yeah.
That's hacer no haciendo.
I like the child analogy, especially because in these excerpts, we see this emphasis on the Taoist value of a child's open mind. That kind of diffuse awareness that isn't, limited by all this rigid social conditioning. It's like they're constantly discovering, seeing the world with fresh eyes.
Exactly. And that's a really key difference between Taoism and, say, Confucianism, which emphasizes, rational maturity and following established rules. Taoism is almost like a critique of those artificial structures that can actually distort our natural way of being.
Okay, so this hacer no haciendo, it's about acting without forcing, right? This kind of effortless flow. But how does that actually play out in real life? Our source uses some really vivid metaphors, being the valley of the world, being nourished by the great mother, being the cause of the world. What do these even mean?
They all point to the power of receptivity, humility, and letting go of the need to control.
Okay.
Instead of constantly pushing and striving, you align yourself with the Tao, the natural flow of the universe, and you allow it to kind of guide your actions.
Yeah.
Trusting the process, even when it feels counterintuitive to our Western mindset.
But isn't that so difficult?
Yes.
Especially in our modern world, where we're constantly bombarded with these messages about, achieving, succeeding, proving ourselves. It feels like hacer no haciendo is almost against everything we've been taught.
It is a radical departure from the dominant paradigm, for sure. And our source makes it clear that this path requires deep self-awareness and a willingness to challenge those, ingrained assumptions that we have. It's not about doing nothing. It's about a different kind of doing, one that arises from a place of inner alignment with the Tao.
One thing that I found really striking in the text was this concept of hunkar, this idea of self-reference or ego attachment. It feels like our ego, our sense of self-importance can be a real obstacle to hacer no haciendo.
Oh, absolutely. Ahankara feeds our need to control, manipulate, force outcomes. Hacer no haciendo is about transcending that ego-driven approach.
Yeah.
Acting from a place of emptiness, of non-attachment, and allowing actions to emerge organically from your connection to the Tao.
So inner work, cultivating a different relationship with yourself and the world around you. But how? How do we cultivate this hacer no haciendo?
Our source gives us some clues. It talks about the importance of being like water, adaptable, yielding, yet incredibly powerful. It emphasizes the value of emptiness, creating space within yourself to receive the wisdom of the Tao. Almost like imagine yourself as an empty vessel, ready to be filled with the insights and the guidance of the universe.
So it's a shift in perspective, like almost a spiritual practice, not just a set of techniques.
Yeah.
But how does that connect to the bigger picture? Because, the source also mentions this triadic view of humanity where we're situated between heaven and earth, acting as a kind of intermediary.
And that ties into this concept of Chung Ho, the central space where heaven and earth interact.
Oh, interesting.
And think of the human being as a microcosm of the universe, embodying that dynamic interplay of, yin and yang, of heaven and earth. By aligning ourselves with that cosmic dance, by cultivating hacer no haciendo, we become more receptive to the guidance of the Tao.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. So we've talked about, the meaning of hacer no haciendo and the challenges of cultivating it in a world that often values the opposite, and even touched on this fascinating Taoist view of the human being and the cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
So much more to explore.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started. In the next part, we'll explore some practical applications of this concept and look at some cautionary notes from our source about the potential misuse of this knowledge.
Ooh, things are getting interesting.
Definitely. So as we dig deeper into Hacer no Haciendo, we run into this paradox.
Yeah.
It's like at the heart of Taoist thinking. This idea that true power often lies in what appears to be weakness.
That's a tough one to wrap your head around, especially when we're so used to this idea that you have to hustle and fight for what you want.
Right.
So how does this weakness, so to speak, translate into strength? Our source material uses some really interesting language here.
Yeah, the Tao Te Ching, it suggests that by embracing qualities we associate with yin, like receptivity, flexibility, humility, we can actually become more effective.
Okay.
It's about aligning yourself with that natural flow of the Tao instead of trying to impose your will on it. Remember that image of water we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Water doesn't force its way through obstacles,
Right.
but it eventually shapes even the hardest rock.
I'm starting to see it as by yielding, by not resisting, you actually gain more power. But, there's this warning in the source, too.
Oh, yeah.
This warning against revealing this knowledge to those who might misuse it. Why all the secrecy?
The text suggests that these, deeper principles of Hacer no Haciendo can be easily misunderstood and even weaponized.
Oh, okay.
Imagine someone using this knowledge to manipulate others,
Right.
to get what they want at the expense of everyone else.
Right.
That's the opposite of what the Tao Te Ching is advocating for.
That makes sense. It's like giving someone, a powerful tool without the ethics of how to use it responsibly. That could have some pretty bad consequences.
The true power of Hacer no Haciendo lies in aligning yourself with the Tao, with the natural harmony and balance of the universe.
Right.
It's about acting for the good of all beings, not just your own personal gain.
Okay, so how do we know if we're on the right track with this Hacer no Haciendo? How do we know if our actions are truly aligned with the Tao? Or if we're just kind of, using it as a fancy cover for our own selfish desires?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Tao Te Ching, it doesn't give us any easy answers, but it does offer some guiding principles.
Okay.
It encourages us to cultivate self-awareness, to really examine our motives, to let go of attachment to specific outcomes.
Okay.
It reminds us that this path isn't about seeking power or control over others, but about embracing simplicity, humility, and a deep connection to the natural world.
So it's not a quick fix,
Yeah.
right? It's an ongoing journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
It's about bringing your inner world into alignment with the principles of the Tao. But what about our actions in the outer world? How we interact with other people? Our source actually has a pretty interesting take on social interventions, I think.
Yeah, the Tao Te Ching, it's critical of the artificiality of, social norms and rituals,
Yeah.
suggesting that they can often cloud our true nature and hinder our connection to the Tao. It encourages us to return to a more natural, spontaneous way of being.
So it's not about rejecting society altogether, but more about questioning those conventions that limit our authenticity
Yeah.
and prevent us from living in harmony with the Tao.
Exactly.
It's like finding that balance, right,
Yeah.
between expressing yourself and being responsible to the community you're part of.
Precisely. And keep in mind, the Tao Te Ching, it's not advocating for chaos or anarchy.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the inherent order and harmony that exists in the universe and aligning yourself with that.
Right.
It's about cultivating a deep sense of interconnectedness with all beings.
This reminds me of that line in the text about the good caminante who leaves no footprints.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful image.
That's the significance of that metaphor.
That's a beautiful image of effortless action, The good caminante moves through the world lightly without leaving behind choices of, their ego or their desire for recognition.
Yeah.
Their actions just flow naturally like the wind or water without causing any disruption.
It's like a reminder that true power doesn't need to announce itself, right? It's not about leaving your mark. It's about contributing to the harmony of the whole.
Exactly. Hacer no Haciendo. It's not about chasing fame or fortune.
Right.
It's about aligning yourself with the Tao and letting your actions flow naturally from that connection.
I'm starting to see how we can apply this Hasa no Haciendo concept to so many different areas of life.
Yeah.
Our relationships, our work, our creative pursuits, even how we engage in politics.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your actions are both effective and aligned with the principles of the Tao.
A kind of effortless effectiveness that comes from a deep inner harmony.
This is all so fascinating, but I got to admit, I'm still wrestling with the paradoxical nature of it all.
Oh, yeah.
How can we act without acting? How can we achieve something without striving for it? It's like one of those Zen koans.
That's what's so brilliant about the Tao Te Ching. It challenges our, typical ways of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It invites us to step outside the box of, our usual assumptions. It gives us these paradoxes that can't be solved just through logic.
Right.
They require a different kind of understanding.
Yeah.
A deeper knowing that comes from direct experience.
So it's not just about intellectually grasping the concepts, but about embodying them,
Yeah.
living them, letting them transform you from the inside out.
Exactly, and that's where the real magic happens. When you start to live from this place of Hasa no Haciendo, you begin to experience a different kind of freedom, a different kind of power, a different kind of joy.
I like that.
It's not about forcing things, it's about allowing things to unfold in their own time and acting in alignment with that natural flow.
The source also talks about the human being as a kind of intermediary between heaven and earth, embodying the interplay of yin and yang.
Right.
How does that relate to Hasa no Haciendo?
It suggests that we each have a unique role to play in the grand scheme of things. We're not separate from the Tao.
Right.
We're actually a manifestation of it.
Yeah.
By cultivating Hasa no Haciendo, we become more aligned with this cosmic dance, allowing the energy of heaven and earth to flow through us.
It's like we become a conduit for the creative power of the universe.
Yeah.
We're not forcing things to happen, but rather allowing them to unfold naturally through us.
Yes, and in doing so, we tap into a source of wisdom and power that's far greater than our individual ego. It's about surrendering to something larger than ourselves and trusting that the universe has a plan, even when we can't see the whole picture.
I was starting to get a glimpse of the profound implications of this Hasa no Haciendo. It's not just about personal growth. It's about our relationship to the universe and our place in the grand scheme of things.
And the beauty of it is that it's a journey of, continuous unfolding. There's always more to discover, more to experience as we deepen our practice of Hasa no Haciendo. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing deeper and deeper truths as we go.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this Hasa no Haciendo concept.
I know, right?
There's so much more to explore.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm eager to hear what else our source has to offer.
Well, get ready for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll touch upon some intriguing nuances of Hasa no Haciendo and delve into the fascinating debate surrounding the origins of the Tao Te Ching itself.
Oh, can't wait. Stay tuned, listeners, because the best is yet to come. As we're exploring all these profound ideas, it makes me think about the Tao Te Ching itself. I remember reading somewhere that there's some debate about its origins.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, the historical authorship of the Tao Te Ching has been a topic of much discussion and scholarly debate for centuries, really. Some scholars attribute it to Lao Tzu,
right?
This legendary figure believed to have lived in the 6th century BC, but others suggest it might have been compiled over a much longer period, reflecting a collective wisdom.
Yeah.
Rather than the work of a single author.
So it's kind of a mystery wrapped in ancient scrolls.
Yeah, kind of.
But what's really striking to me is how relevant the ideas in the Tao Te Ching feel.
Yeah.
Even today, no matter who wrote them or when, they speak to something universal about the human experience.
Absolutely. The Tao Te Ching's insights into human nature, the nature of reality, the art of living, it really seems to transcend, time and culture.
Speaking of timeless wisdom, let's bring this back to Hasa no Haciendo and how it applies to our modern lives. I mean, it's so easy to get swept up in the hustle and bustle,
right?
The striving for more.
Yeah.
How can we possibly embrace this idea of action through non-action in such a a fast-paced world, it seems almost impossible.
It's definitely a challenge, there's no doubt about that. But
Yeah.
the Tao Te Ching reminds us that true effectiveness often comes from aligning ourselves with the natural rhythms of the universe rather than, constantly pushing and striving against them.
Mm.
It's about finding that sweet spot between effort and ease, action and stillness. It's like finding your own rhythm within the cosmic dance.
So it's not about becoming passive or retreating from the world. It's about finding a different way to engage, a way that's more in sync with the Tao.
Exactly. Think of it as a shift in perspective, a subtle recalibration of your internal compass. Instead of always trying to force things to happen, you can learn to cultivate a receptive awareness and openness to the guidance of the Tao.
Okay.
It's about trusting the process, allowing things to unfold in their own time, and acting with a sense of effortless spontaneity.
I'm trying to picture that, acting with effortless spontaneity. It's like a dancer moving, gracefully with the music.
Yeah.
Or a calligrapher creating beautiful strokes with a brush. There's a sense of ease, of being in the flow, of allowing something greater to move through you.
And that's where the true magic of Hasu no Haciendo lies. It's not about achieving some, external goal. It's about cultivating an inner state of harmony and alignment. When you tap into that inner harmony, your actions naturally become more effective, more in sync with the flow of the universe.
It's almost like the universe conspires to help you when you're in alignment with the Tao.
Yeah.
It strikes me that this concept isn't just about personal transformation. It also has implications for, how we interact with the world around us. If we can learn to embrace Hasu no Haciendo in our relationships, in our work, in our communities, wouldn't that create a more harmonious and balanced world overall? It's like a ripple effect starting from within.
It's a beautiful vision, and I truly believe it's possible. When we act from a place of inner harmony, we naturally create more harmony around us. Our actions become less driven by ego and more aligned with the common good.
Right.
It's like planting seeds of peace and compassion that can grow and blossom throughout the world.
So Hasu no Haciendo is not just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's a path of continuous self-cultivation that has the potential to ripple outwards, creating positive change in the world.
Absolutely.
It's inspiring to think about the possibilities.
Yeah, it is.
Well, fellow deep divers, we've reached the end of our exploration of Hasu no Haciendo. We've delved into its paradoxical nature, its connection to the interplay of yin and yang, the challenges it presents, and its incredible potential for personal and collective transformation. But the real journey begins now as we take these insights and apply them to our own lives.
Yeah.
It's like we've been given a map to a hidden treasure, and now it's up to us to follow it and discover what awaits us.
I love that.
Remember, the Tao Te Ching, it's not a book to be simply, read and forgotten. It's a living wisdom tradition that invites us to engage with it on a deeply personal level. So I leave you with this question to ponder. Where in your life might you be trying too hard? Where might a bit of Hasu no Haciendo bring greater ease and effectiveness? Perhaps it's in your relationships, your work, or your creative pursuits. The answers are waiting to be discovered within you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Hasu no Haciendo. We hope it's sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore this profound concept further. Until next time, may your actions be effortless, your path be clear, and your heart be filled with the wisdom of